Back here on MLB Tonight, over the weekend, the traveling Empire Show. Yes, the mighty Dodgers, World Series champions, having their Dodgers Fan Fest. Crowds coming out to see the World Series champs and some of their new additions as well.
Off season was my focus was on, after the surgery, just rehabbing my arm. With going into the postseason, didn't really have a lot of time to be able to have a significant time to relax, but in a sense, I just felt like this offseason was the busiest offseason by far. Just literally feels like you just, won the game and we're back in it.
What it meant to so many people, day in and day out, when I'm out and about in the community, people coming up to me and telling me what that home run, the World Series, the championship meant to them. I think that's why we all play sports, is to bring joy and memories and create those kind of things for the fans. And to be able to do that for these fans, I think that was pretty special.
Mookie, Shohei, they're talking about legacy. They're talking about going back to back. And then also now we're introducing guys that are new to this city, this organization, that are hungry to get a championship. So I think that melding all these guys together, we're going to really continue to just take off.
Don't they seem so happy? They seem so...
It's great to be a champion.
I know. I got used to Dave Roberts going, we won 107 games. I don't want to feel disappointed, but I wish we could have won. Now they're like, hey, we won. Everything is good. The news in all of that was Shohei Ohtani saying that he may not be ready to pitch, because he's going to be pitching again this year, until about mid-May. He had surgery on his shoulder that he jammed in the World Series while sliding, but not his pitching shoulder. But again, he's getting this elbow ready. He's got this shoulder to fix. He's also a hitter. There's a lot going on, and it seems, Mike, the Dodgers are never in any rush to get a pitcher out there early in the season.
And they don't have to be. Signing Blake Snell, Sasaki, they're going to have Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow. They can, as we look here, what's, the Dodgers 2025 options. I mean, they can go 6, even 7 deep and bide their time. Make sure Ohtani's 100%. Because why are we going to rush him? I think they're so much better than everyone, not only in their division, but in the whole league, that there really is no point. Why are you going to risk hoping Ohtani makes a start April 15th when if he does it May 15th, it's not going to change anything for that team? They're just too loaded. And, I mean, they got to be the favorites by far to repeat. They're really building this super team. From a rotation standpoint, position player standpoint, the bullpen is significantly better.
It's unbelievable.
It's outstanding. So it's going to be fun to watch. And they're kind of turning into like what the Yankees were in the late 90s.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah, everyone's not. Now they're kind of upset that they're getting all the players, So.
Now, see, you notice I called them the Empire. I didn't call them the Evil Empire.
Right.
But,
to a lot of people, they will be.
If they win 120 games to win the World Series, it'll be Evil Empire.
Correct.
Because what they've done to stack things up, with what they did in their bullpen alone, and then with their rotation to get Roki Sasaki, who could be a superstar, year 2 of Yamamoto. They haven't re-signed Clayton Kershaw as of yet, but he could slot right in, be another guy with another 120 excellent innings. And that's not even counting when Ohtani, who is a premier pitcher, will rejoin the rotation in some form.
Yeah, and usually the MO of the Dodgers where we have 6 guys at the beginning and it seemed like we were searching for the 3rd starter come playoff time. They can kind of reverse the script right now and start off same with those 6 guys, but the reinforcements that they have coming can kind of lead to, for me, the question marks. For me, it's Tyler Glasnow. Like, I want Tyler Glasnow healthy in the postseason because he can be electric. So there's just no rush. They're so deep, they're so talented that you mentioned Kershaw. Forget 120. He can give me 70 good innings.
Right.
That's take 8 starts away. So they have so much flexibility with the way they've, structured a lot of the deals, a lot of deferrals. And I think it's become a place where all these free agents now want to join. They want to join. Like back in the day, do you think you'd get 4 guys, these bullpen guys, when I see Kirby Yates and you got Trinan coming back and it's just big name after big name. Tanner Scott. Like I didn't think for the life of me Tanner Scott was going to go to the Dodgers because I thought someone was going to blow him out of the water. You think the Padres aren't like, oh, wow, they took our guy.
Tanner Scott's a kill shot.
He's fantastic.
Best relief pitcher on the market. Yeah. I'll just say, last year when we were sitting this time last year doing MLB Tonights, I would ask how many wins for the Dodgers, how many wins for the Dodgers, and we were all saying, all of it, me too, outrageous numbers. They won 98. A lot of things can go sideways along the way. I don't see that happening.
Not this
but
year.
I thought last year, you're right. I thought that last year it could do. This year's a different story. All right, how many wins for the Dodgers? We'll take a short break. Pacoda projections are out. Dodgers got the top number in the sport. Might not be as high as you think. We'll look at the Pacoda projections and some of the surprises, including one in the city of Chicago. That's next. Back here on MLB Tonight, Brian Kenny, Mike Lowell. Pacoda projections are out. Let's start with this. Codify Baseball tweeting this out or Xing it out. The percentage of chances, the playoff chances for each club. So you see, Mike, the Dodgers, they have no chance
of not making
the playoffs. 100%. They must make the playoffs just by showing up. They'll be there. But they're at 100%. Then the Braves at 90. And you see, well, the Cubs, another big number at 87%. Texas is back up there as well. And this is reflected with the number of wins that they're projecting as well. So let's get to it. Take a look at some of the Pacoda projections for this coming year. Pacoda, I'll hasten to add, are very conservative in their overall prognostication. So here are some of the top clubs in the American League. The Yankees at 90 wins, but the Orioles are right there at 89. So Yankees and Orioles in the AL East are basically in lockstep, 89.7 to 89.2. But how about that, Mike? Rangers at 89, Astros still at 87, Twins expected to win the Central.
Interesting. You know, for me, the Rangers number has to be pretty inflated from the year before. I wouldn't have put them as second in the American League, well, tied with the Orioles. I think Pacoda in ranking how good the teams are good, but yeah, it seems like some of these are deflated numbers. Would you say they err on the side of caution? Would be,
yeah.
Yes.
What Pacoda is doing as we move to the National League, it's really checking in on the horsepower of the engine.
Gotcha.
And so here is what they're saying about the Dodgers. Their projection system is saying about the Dodgers at least 104. That's a big number for Pacoda at 104 wins. So they are, it's not that they're not bullish on the Dodgers, even though they were averaging 107 up until last year. But the Braves coming in with a big number, 92. Cubs coming in with a big number, 91. And the Mets just barely, it's basically a tie. Mets tied with the Phillies. Yeah. So let's start with that. Do we agree on 104? Does that sound about right? Does that sound light?
For me, it's light, but I agree with them being the best team in the league by at least 5 wins. If Pacoda threw them at 107, 108, I don't think it would shock me. I'd be like, yeah.
It would only shock me within the realm of their projections.
Of the way they normally
that's all.
do
Not,
yes.
not anything else. They were averaging 107.
Yeah,
up until last year on a disappointing 98 and the World Series. But also, like, trying to measure, I'm not sure exactly how they try to measure. What would Yamamoto do this year in year 2 after making an adjustment? What does Roki Sasaki do? How many innings does he pitch? I don't think it can figure all those things out. And I think the Dodgers are going to be better than what Pacoda is saying.
I agree. It would not shock me. Forget Pacoda. If the Dodgers go out and win 113 games, I'd be like, yeah, they're capable. I think they are. But moving forward, the Cubs at 91, I find that aggressive.
Yeah.
I really do. And I hope. I think it's good for baseball if the Cubs are in there. But over the Mets and the Phillies, I don't know. I feel like those two teams, Mets and Phillies, have a little bit deeper track record than what we've seen out of the Cubs the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think the addition of Kyle Tucker is something that adds to the horsepower of the club. Seiya Suzuki's off a very good year. You've got a lot of stability between Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner. I think it measures that WAR. If you have enough players with a solid 4 WAR all around your field, I think that helps. And that's where they are. All right, so 104 wins. Here's what Pacoda has projected for the Dodgers in the last couple of years. Last 4 years, here's their number 1 projection. Last year it was the Dodgers, so they were even a little conservative last year at 101, and they actually came in at 98. They had the Yankees at 99. Yankees disappointed 2 years ago at 82. Before that, it was the Dodgers at 101 and 104 before that, and they came in at a 111 and 106. Actually, Pacoda's looking pretty good on these. How about that, Mike?
And honestly, 2023 Yankees, they had a slew of injuries as well. So I think, they're I don't think Pacoda takes into the fact if you lose a superstar player.
No, I have no way of knowing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Again, it's a little closer. Most times when Pacoda gets in the media, they get drilled. We're not doing that. Take a look at the low end of things because I teased, a Chicago team with some surprises. We're not talking about the White Sox. Where'd the White Sox come in? 100 losses is what they come in. But they come in with the Tigers after that impressive, 86 win season. Pacoda has them at 79. Brewers only coming in at 80. Reds at 74. My theory on that, Mike, is that Pacoda can't look at every Christian Encarnacion strand and say that was an off year, he's going to be better. They can just look at what the guy actually has done. And I think the Brewers are normally better than the sum of their parts. And Pacoda is just looking at the parts.
Yeah, and you mentioned it in our production meeting, and I think I would put the Brewers in that and the Tigers in that category where they play better as a team than what the breakdown of numbers does per person.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I'd be shocked if the Tigers aren't above 500. I'd say that's a step down. So for Pacoda to have them at 80 wins, I think that's light. The Brewers, 13 wins less, maybe with the addition of Brandon Woodruff, a healthy Brandon Woodruff. I'm like, hey, I take that number. And
no Willie Adames, though. So that's like that's like a 5-win player.
Sure, sure.
Take him off the board. Again, anytime a team seems like insulted by these projections, I'm like, don't be insulted. You know, be honored. Knowing
and don't be mad at you,
it's
right?
Like they're not be mad at me either, right? It's like, no, they're saying that you are better than the sum of your parts, which, you know, is kind of a little bit of the magic and the camaraderie and the direction of the team, the all-around culture.
All those things that you believe
All
in.
those things that I thoroughly believe in, at least when he's sitting. All right, final strike time. First of all, it's wrong that you were not in that montage, Mike.
It's a sore spot in my heart.
Where's a young Mike Lowell? Anyway, Luka Doncic, of course, the massive trade in the NBA over the weekend. And the Luka trade in baseball terms, it's like trading Bobby Witt for Corbin Burns and saying afterwards it's because pitching wins championships. Interesting. Again, I can't break that down right now in basketball terms as far as baseball, but I know it immediately hit me that, well, baseball has had seismic trades before. Last year we saw Juan Soto, right? Juan Soto comes over. We know he's one of the top players in baseball going to the Yankees. It turns out it was just 1 year, but that was a mega trade. And look, A.J. Preller of the Padres getting back Michael King, among others, made a big impact. He didn't lose that trade.
Yeah, you can say he got a haul, and but I do think it was softened from being a monumental trade because it was just a 1 year. It ended up being a 1 year rental for the Yankees with Juan Soto.
Yeah, Drew Thorpe became Dylan Cease, by the way. So that's actually a rare case where, hey, let's unload a superstar and do well. The other one that popped up, actually, you brought this up first. Mookie Betts, that trade was a seismic deal. Here's a superstar. We can't get him to sign a contract. Well, in this case, I'm not saying that was the Mavericks, but so we can't get a contract. So we're going to trade him and try to get something back in return. That did not work out.
No, it did not. And I think if you look back and say, hey, would Mookie Betts be a guy the Red Sox would give $300 million to right now? Absolutely, especially at the time of this trade. I mean, Alex Verdugo was a super prospect. Jeter Downs, I think, was a former #1 pick. Connor Wong's actually done a pretty good job for the Red Sox, but obviously he is not Mookie Betts. I'm going to say advantage Dodgers on this one.
Again, now they made that trade. The Dodgers made the trade and then signed Mookie Betts to an extension.
Correct.
So he wasn't guaranteed that he was going to stay there, but
they made it work.
They made that happen.
Yes.
Here's another one you brought up. Why don't you bring it up since you brought it up earlier?
Well, being a Marlin, when Miguel Cabrera got traded to the Tigers, I was like, wow, what are you going to get back? And you look at it was supposed to be a haul, and I will say Andrew Miller was a monster top prospect. I think him, along with our own Cameron Maybin, were two guys that they thought were going to be cornerstones for the Marlins franchise. Not sure it panned out too well for the Marlins. Cabrera ended up winning MVPs, Triple Crowns, surefire Hall of Famer. Does Cabrera go into the Hall of Fame as a Tiger?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's at
the time of that trade, he went his first year with the Tigers was his age 25 season.
That's incredible.
He had already, though, a bunch of times he'd hit like 339. He'd slugged 540. It wasn't like, I don't know if this kid's going to amount to anything.
Oh, no. They knew they were getting a superstar, and he played out every bit of it.
It shows you, as big as baseball trades are, again, in the NBA, there's 5 players, man. You know what? I mean, I know nothing about the trade, but I know this. You can't trade that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Big impact.
You know what I'm saying? Wait, he's a first-team All-NBA. He's 25 years old. You can't trade that guy. But I'll save that for a digging in at another time. Thanks for watching.
そして今シーズンのドジャースについて語るたびに感じるのはやはりこのチームの特別さです。ワールドシリーズ優勝という偉業を成し遂げた直後も彼らはただ満足するのではなくさらに高みを目指す姿勢を見せています。ファンフェストでの熱気あふれる雰囲気を見てもわかるようにこのチームがどれだけファンに愛されそしてファンと共に歩んでいるのかが伝わってきます。ドジャースの選手たちはただ試合に勝つことだけを考えているわけではありません。彼らはその勝利がファンにどれほどの意味を持つのかを理解し、その一瞬一瞬を大切にしているのです。今シーズン、最も注目されるのはやはり大谷翔平選手のピッチング復帰時期でしょう。手術の影響もあり、早くても5月中旬まではマウンドに立たない見込みですが、ドジャースには彼をじらせる必要がないほどの圧倒的な戦力があります。山本投手、グラスノー投手、スネル投手、 さらには佐々木朗まで投手という、まるでオールスター級のローテーションが揃っています。この充実した投手陣によって、大谷選手は 100% の状態で戻ってくるまでじっくりと調整することができるでしょう。開幕から全力で飛ばすよりも、シーズンを通じて万全の状態を維持することが重要です。ドジャースは、長期的な視点でチームを作り上げることに長けた球団であり、その戦略の下で彼が最高のパフォーマンスを発揮できる環境が整えられています。そして、チーム全体を見渡すと、ドジャースはまさに、スーパーチームと呼ぶにふさわしい陣容を誇っています。ワールドシリーズを制覇した後でも補強の手を緩めることなく、さらに強化されたブルペンにはトレイネン投手やカービー、イエーツ投手、さらには今を不最大の目玉であるタナー、スコット投手まで加わりました。これほどの補強を進めながらも、選手たちは決して個人プレーに走ることなく、お互いを支え合いながらチームとしての結束を深めています。この姿勢こそが、ドジャースが単なるスター軍団ではなく、チームとしての強さを持つ理由なのです。また、ドジャースがこれほどまでに成功を収めている理由の一つに、チームの文化があります。ただ強い選手を集めるだけではなく、選手たちが本当にプレーしたいと思える環境を整えています。その結果、今やフリーエージェント市場では、ドジャースに行きたいと考える選手が後を絶たない状況になっています。これは90年代後半のヤンキースと似た状況であり、どの選手も優勝の可能性が最も高いチームの一員になりたいと思っているのです。ある意味では、エンパイアと呼ばれることを覚悟しながらも、彼らは勝ち続けるために必要な全てを備えています。PECOTA の予想では、ドジャースの勝利数は104とされていますが、実際にはそれ以上の成績を残す可能性が高いでしょう。過去数年間、ドジャースは毎年のように100勝以上を記録し続けており、昨シーズンはわずか98勝に終わったとはいえ、それでもワールドシリーズ優勝を達成しました。今シーズンはさらにロースターが充実し、開幕から最後の試合まで圧倒的な強さを発揮することが期待されています。実際、一部の専門家は、113勝も現実的とさえ予測しており、ドジャースがリーグを支配するシーズンになることは間違いありません。しかし、ただ勝利を重ねるだけではなく、ドジャースの選手たちがどれほど楽しんでプレーしているのかも印象的です。試合後のインタビューやファンフェストでの様子を見ると、彼らは単なるプロフェッショナルとしてではなく、本当に野球を愛し、仲間と共に戦うことを楽しんでいるのが伝わってきます。特にムーキー、ベッツ選手や大谷翔平選手が、レガシーについて語っていたのは印象的でした。彼らは単なる一時の成功ではなく、歴史に名を刻むようなチームを作り上げようとしているのです。ドジャースは今、まさに黄金時代の真っ只中にいます。昨シーズンの優勝で終わりではなく、新たな挑戦がすでに始まっています。彼らがどこまで勝ち続けるのか、どのような歴史を作るのか、その全てが今シーズンの楽しみとなるでしょう。そして、ファンとしてもその瞬間を一緒に味わえることが最高の喜びです。これからもドジャースのシーズンを一緒に追いかけていきましょう。試合のハイライトや選手のコメント、最新情報を見逃さないためにも、ぜひチャンネル登録をお願いします。ドジャースがどこまで進化するのか、一緒に楽しみながら見守りましょう。